Hey there! So you need a flexible rig for tailed creatures. Here's what you'll get. This one has 3 levels of controls. Master controller for direction, 3 main controllers for bending, and 12 precision controllers for anything else that you need. Firstly, as this is a pretty complex rig, let's quickly prepare bone groups and shapes. You'll need 4 bone groups for easier navigation, and shapes for deformers, precision controllers, main controllers, and a master controller. Ensure that your tail is straight, and add a bone that covers the whole length. Subdivide it by 11 or whatever number you need. Align the bones if your tail is not perfectly straight, but try to keep bone size the same. Then switch to scaling from active element and scale bones to 90% like this, so they gradually get smaller to the tip. This will allow for more details in the tip of the tail. Press Ctrl F2 and set the name for tail.def. Also, fixing indexes won't hurt. Change bone suffixes to go from 0, 1 to 12. Also ensure that they are assigned to the tail deformers group. And before we continue, skin your tail to these bones so they have weights like this. You can use smooth weights to get a more natural result. Also, a smooth modifier will help a lot. Just don't forget to assign a vertex group for the whole tail and add it into the modifier. If your tail bends fine, we can continue to the actual rig. Back in armature edit mode, duplicate all tail bones, press Shift H to hide everything except these bones, unparent them, and scale them down from individual origins. Press Ctrl F2 to replace def to ctr.press, and fix indexes once again. Optionally, you can also disable deform property for these bones. Parent each deformer bone to the corresponding controller with the keep offset option. Remove these bones from tail deformers and assign them into tail controllers. Then switch to pose mode, hide deformers layer and change controllers' bone shapes to custom. You can use this default add-on to make this process faster. Bring deformers back and select the second controller, then the first deformer. Press Ctrl-Shift-C and add stretch to constraint. Repeat this process for all deformer bones except the last one. Ensuring that your rig works properly after each step, just like this, can help a lot in case of any mistakes. Now let's move to the controllers that you'll use most of the time. Firstly, let's create the controllers themselves. Select the first precision controller, the last one, and the one in the middle. You'll have more bones between middle and tip controllers than in the first section. That's correct. Duplicate selected bones and scale them from individual origins. They must have no parent bone and belong to the tail controllers group, just like the precision ones. Now let's quickly rename the main controllers and change their shapes. After that, go back to armature edit mode, hide everything, except 3 main controllers. Also hide the character and enable snapping to vertices. Create 2 more bones and snap them like this. They must have no parent bone, be assigned to the bendy bones group, and have deform property disabled. Switch to the B-bone armature display and change the thickness of these 2 bones with Ctrl-Alt-Shift-S. Now return to the pose mode, select the root controller and the first bendy bone. Press Ctrl-Shift-C and add copy location and copy rotation constraints. Repeat this process for the second pair of bones. And now add stretch to constraints to both bendy bones, just like we did this for deformers, but this time targets must be mid and tip main controllers. Quickly check that everything works, and let's move forward. Select the first bendy bone and change its segments to something roughly similar to the amount of deformer bones in this section. Change handle modes to tangent, and set root tail controller as start, and mid tail controller as end. Now repeat this process for the second bone. Increase the amount of segments. Change handle modes, and mid controller as start and tip controller as end. Now when we have this smooth movement, it's time to add easing for curvature of the tail. Go back to the first bendy bone and add a driver to the ease in property. Paste this value, set the root main controller as target. Type Y scale, space local. Copy this driver and paste it into ease out property, but change target bone to the mid main controller. Repeat this process for the second bendy bone and corresponding main controllers. But to actually complete this level, we need to make these bones to control the precision controllers. For this, select the very first precision controller and add an armature constraint to it. Press Add Target Bone and select the first bendy bone. Then select all bones of the first section, including the one close to the middle main controller. Ensure that the bone with armature constraint is active and open Copy Attributes menu. Copy armature constraint using Copy Selected Constraints option specifically. Now repeat this process for the second section. Add an armature constraint to one of precision controllers targeting the second bendy bone. Then simply copy this constraint to other precision controllers of this section. And with this, the second and the most complicated level of controls is done. The last step will be to finish the rig with the master controller and connect it to the whole body rig. But firstly, a quick shout out to Pirig from P2 Design, as I used his tentacle rig and simplified it to make easier to understand and replicate. Go back to edit mode one last time, and add a new bone that will cover the whole tail. Parent it to the pelvis bone, or whatever one that is suitable in your rig. Next, grab 3 main controllers and parent them to this new bone. After that, assign it to the tail IK group and extrude another one out of its tip. Unparent this new bone and assign it to both tail IK and tail controllers groups. Change bone shapes and add inverse kinematics constraint to the big bone with chain length set to 1 and target set to the last created bone. If you'd also like to learn how to rig legs with double knees like this Draenei has, stick to the end. But meanwhile, here's your checklist to ensure that you didn't miss anything. The mesh is skinned to 12 deformer bones. They are parented to 12 precision controller bones with bone relations and stretch to constraint. These controllers are moved by 2 bendy bones using armature constraint. The bendy bones obey 3 main controllers with copy location rotation constraints, stretch to constraint, and be bone settings with drivers. And on the top of the hierarchy, we have the IK bone that is parented to pelvis and controlled by the tail master controller through inverse kinematics constraint. Now you have this wonderful beast integrated into your character rig, so good luck with your art.